My daughter looked at me across a contact centre table and asked me why I had left her. She was 8 years old. She had not been told I had left. I had not left. I had been attending every supervised contact session for 11 months, driving 40 minutes each way, sitting in a room that smelled of instant coffee and synthetic carpet, counting the minutes I was allowed with my own child. Someone had told her I had left, and I need you to stay with me until the part where I tell you who that was and what I found in writing, because that is the part that changed everything. My name is not important. What matters is that I am 36 years old, a community support worker from Coventry, and I have a daughter called Freya who was 7 when my relationship with her father ended in September 2021. The relationship had been difficult for years. When it ended, I expected it to be painful. I did not expect what came next. What came next was not her father, it was his mother. Her name was Pauline. Pauline had never approved of me. I knew this from the first year of the relationship and had managed it the way you manage things when you love someone and their family is part of the package. Polite distance, civil occasions, the specific exhaustion of being always slightly on guard in someone else's home. When the relationship ended, Pauline's disapproval had nowhere to put itself except into the question of Freya. In October 2021, 6 weeks after the separation, Freya began staying with her father at his mother's house. This was agreed informally while we worked out a permanent arrangement. Pauline was present at every handover. She began making comments during those handovers. Small ones at first, about Freya's clothes, about her eating habits, about whether she was sleeping properly, all delivered with the particular tone of a woman who wanted me to know that she was watching and that she had formed conclusions. In December 2021, Freya told me during a contact visit that Nana had said, "Mummy sometimes forgets things." She said it with the careful delivery of a child, repeating something she has been told to remember. I noted it in my diary that evening. I had started keeping a diary in November, which in retrospect was the most useful thing I did in this entire process. Let me stop here because we are about 2 minutes in, and I want to say something that I think is important. When I look back at the beginning of 2022, I can see clearly what was happening. I could not see it clearly then. When you are in the middle of a separation, trying to keep your child stable, trying to manage your own grief, trying to be reasonable when every instinct is telling you that something is wrong, you do not always trust what you are seeing, especially when the people around you keep telling you that you are being oversensitive. I want you to hold that thought because the thing I was seeing in December 2021 was real. I just could not prove it yet. By February 2022, Freya was reluctant to come home after contact visits, not refusing, reluctant, slow to get her coat, asking if she could stay one more night, the kind of behaviour that could be entirely normal for a child navigating a difficult separation. I told myself that. My solicitor, a woman called Anita, told me that. The CAFCAS officer, who conducted the initial assessment in March 2022, told me that Freya seemed settled and that her expressed wishes were that she enjoyed time with both parents. Enjoyed time with both parents, that was the phrase in the report. In April, Freya stopped calling me Mum in front of Pauline. I noticed this during a handover. She called me by my name, just my name. I am 36 years old and my daughter called me by my first name while standing next to her grandmother, and I had to drive for 12 minutes before I could see the road properly. I applied for a child arrangements order in May 2022. Anita filed the application in the family court. The process was slow, the way family court processes are always slow, and the slowness felt like a physical weight that I carried around for months. I attended mediation in July. Her father attended. Pauline did not attend because she was not a party to the proceedings, but her presence was in that room regardless, in everything her son said, and the particular careful way he said it. The mediation produced a temporary arrangement. Freya would spend alternate weeks with each parent. I believe this was progress. It was not progress. It was the point at which things got significantly worse. In September 2022, Freya told me during a weekend visit that she did not have to listen to me, because Nana said I was not a proper mum. She said this with the flat certainty of a child who has heard something repeated enough times that it has become fact. I wrote it down word for word in my diary that evening. I sat at my kitchen table in the particular silence of a house where your child is not, and I wrote down what she had said, and I thought about the contact centre question from the previous month, and I understood that something deliberate was happening to my daughter. I told Anita. Anita said we needed evidence. In November 2022, Freya's class teacher at her primary school contacted me. Her name was Ruth. Ruth told me she had observed some changes in Freya over the preceding term and wanted to discuss them. We met on the 14th of November. Ruth told me that Freya had made several comments in class that concerned her, including a comment about her mother not being around and that she wanted me to be aware. Ruth said she had documented the incidents. Ruth was my unexpected evidence. She had been keeping notes, not as part of any formal process, simply because she was a careful teacher who noticed things and wrote them down. Those notes covered 6 weeks of observations. They included dates, direct quotations from Freya, and Ruth's own professional assessment that the language Freya was using did not reflect the contact arrangements on record. Ruth agreed to provide a witness statement. Anita filed a C1A form alleging parental alienation in December 2022 and requested a new CAFCAS investigation with specific reference to the school records and Ruth's witness statement. The new CAFCAS officer was a man called David. David was thorough in a way the first officer had not been. He spoke to Ruth, he reviewed the school notes, he spoke to Freya in a session that Pauline was not present for, which had been specifically requested by Anita and agreed by the court. What Freya told David in that session is not something I'm going to repeat in detail because she is my child and it is private. What I will tell you is that David's report, received in February 2023, used the phrase concerning pattern of influence and recommended that contact arrangements be reviewed with specific reference to the grandmother's involvement. Now, here is what I withheld until now. In January 2023, during the disclosure process, Anita received a bundle of communications from the respondent's legal team. Standard disclosure, and within that bundle, on the third page of a WhatsApp export, there was a message from Pauline to her son, dated the 14th of March 2022. The message read, "I have been telling Freya that her mum chose to leave and that we are her real family now. She is starting to understand." She had written it down. In a message sent to her son, who had kept it, who had then been required to disclose it as part of legal proceedings. She had documented her own campaign in a WhatsApp message, and it had ended up in a court bundle. I want to give Pauline something here because I have genuinely tried to understand her. Pauline had raised her son alone after a difficult divorce when he was very young. She had watched him go through a painful relationship. She loved Freya with a fierceness that was not in question. In her own mind, I think she was protecting her family, closing a circle, keeping safe the people she had spent her life fighting for. That does not make what she did acceptable, but it makes it human. She was not acting from nothing, she was acting from a place of love that had no boundaries and no understanding of the damage it was doing. The hearing was in April 2023. His Honour Judge, Williams, reviewed the WhatsApp disclosure, David's CAFCAS report, and Ruth's witness statement. He made a finding that Freya had been subject to a sustained pattern of influence designed to undermine her relationship with her mother, and that this pattern had involved both her father and her grandmother. He issued a child arrangements order, giving me primary residence of Freya. He imposed a condition that Pauline's contact with Freya be supervised for a period of 12 months. Partial win. That is what Anita called it. Partial, because her father retained regular contact. Partial, because Freya was 8 years old and confused and had been told things about me that I am still 2 years later, gently and carefully trying to undo. Partial, because winning in court does not give you back the 18 months of bedtimes and school mornings and ordinary Tuesday evenings that you lost while the process ground through. Freya lives with me now. She is 10. She called me mum last week without thinking about it, in the middle of asking me something about homework, and then went back to her question without pausing. She did not know it mattered. I did not tell her it mattered. I stood at the kitchen sink for a moment afterwards and looked at the garden and thought about the contact centre. The instant coffee smell, the synthetic carpet, the 40-minute drive each way for 11 months. The question she asked me across that table, the question she asked me is not something she would ask now. That is the only thing I know for certain. Here is what I cannot resolve, and I want to ask you directly. Pauline still has supervised contact with Freya. The supervision period ended 6 months ago. I do not know what she says to Freya during those visits. I do not have the right to know, and I understand that. Freya comes home from those visits, and she is fine, or she seems fine, and I cannot always tell the difference, and I am not sure I ever will be able to. What would you do if this were your child and you could not control what was said in a room you were not in? How would you find the line between protecting her and letting her have a relationship with her family? I have been trying to find that line for 2 years. I have not found it yet.